Me, sir? Peemer's indignation was genuine. Not me, sir. I may be small, but I'm not stupid. No, one could not accuse you of that, my young friend. But as you've already pointed out, we are living in an uncertain turn, I think. The harper broke off, staring out the window, frowning absently. Abruptly, he made a decision and regarded Peemer for a long moment. Manoli told me you were quick-witted. Let's see if you comprehend the reason behind this. You will not be known as my apprentice. And Master Robinson smiled understandingly at Peemer's sharp intake of breath. Then he nodded with approval as Peemer promptly schooled his expression to polite acceptance. You will be told off as apprentice to the drum master, Alodki, who will know that you are under my orders as well. Yes, and the crispness of Master Robinson's tone told Peemer that he was pleased by this solution, and Peemer had better be. That will serve. The drummers must, of course, keep irregular hours. No one would note your absences or think anything of your taking messages. Master Robinson put his hand on Peemer's shoulder and gave him a little shake, smiling kindly. No one will miss your boyish trouble more than I, lad, except possibly Domick. But here in the Harper Hall, some of us listen to other tunes and drum a different beat. He gave Peemer another shake, then cuffed him on the shoulder encouragingly. I don't want you to stop listening, Peemer. Not if you can take isolated facts and put them together as well as you just did. But I also want you to notice the way things are said, the tone and inflection, and the emphasis. Peemer mustered a grin. What a harper hears is for the harper's ears, sir. Master Robinson laughed. Good lad. Now take this tray back to Sylvina and ask her to fit you out with warehide. A drummer has to be at his post in all weathers. You don't need warehide on the drum height, exclaimed Peemer. Then he grinned as he cocked his head at his master. You do need it if you're riding a dragon back, though. I told you he was quick, said Manoli, grinning at the harper's consternation. Scamp! Rascal! Impertinent snip! Cried the harper, dismissing him with a vigorous wave of his hand that set Zare squawking. Do as you're told and keep your notions to yourself. Then I will be riding dragons, said Peemer, and when he saw Master Robinson rise half out of his chair, he quickly slipped out of the room. What did I tell you, master? Said Manoli, laughing. He's quick enough to be very useful. Though the glint of amusement remained in his eyes, the harper stared thoughtfully at the closed door, his fingers tapping idly on his armchair. Quick, yes, but a shade young. Young? Peemer? He was never young, that one. Don't let that innocent, wide-eyed stare of his fool you. Besides, he's got 14 turns, almost as old as I was when I left Half-Circle Seahold to live in the Dragonstone's cave with my fire lizards. And what else can be done with all his energy and mischief? He's simply not suited for any other section of this craft. Master Schoeniger was the only person who had half a chance of keeping him out of trouble. Old Arnor couldn't, nor Tarrant. It's got to be Alodki in the drums. I could almost see the merit of the old-timer's attitude, said the harper, on the end of a heavy sigh. Sir? Manoli stared at him, startled as much by the abrupt change of subject as the sense of what he said. I wish we hadn't changed so in this last long interval. But, sir, you've been supporting all the changes Flora and Lessa have advocated, and Bendon's been right to make those changes. They've united Hall and Hold behind the Weirs. Furthermore, and Manoli took a deep breath, Sibel told me not so long ago that before this pass of the Red Star began, harpers were nearly as discredited as dragon riders. You've made this hall into the most prestigious craft on Pern. Everyone respects Master Harper Robinson. Even Peemer, she added with a laugh trembling in her voice as she struggled to relieve her master's melancholy. Ah, now there's a real accomplishment. Indeed it is, she said, ignoring his facetiousness, for he's very hard to impress, I assure you. Believe me, too, that he won't be in the least distressed to do for you what he does naturally for himself. He's always heard the gossip it gathers, and told me, knowing I'd tell you. What a harper's hears is for the harper's ears. She laughed to find Peemer's saucy quip so applicable. It was easier during the interval, Robinson said with another long sigh. Zare, who'd been cleaning himself, chirped in a querying way, tilting his head and peering with earnestly whirling eyes at his friend. The harper smiled as he stroked the little creature. Boring, too, to be completely candid. Still, it won't be that long an assignment for Peemer, will it? His voice ought to settle within the turn, and he can resume his place as a soloist. If his adult voice is half as good as his treble, he'll be a better singer than Teggerald. Seeing that prospect cheered her master, Manoli smiled. The drum message was from Istahold. Sibel's on his way back with those herbal medicines. Hold on just a second. Master Old I've wanted. He'll be at Fort Seahold by late afternoon tomorrow if the wind holds. Indeed. I'll be very interested to hear what our good Sibel has for his harper's ears.